I mean, part of the joy of being a cinematographer is really finding the language, the visual language for each film. Like, because for me, everything, lighting, camera, lensing, all of it comes from character and the story. And so me and Brett talked a lot in prep about how we convey that visually, how they're kind of basically trying to express what they can't say to each other through music, but also, how that kind of closeness comes across visually. So it was a lot of fun, yeah, and Brett was really on board with some of my weirder ideas, so we had fun. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So you also have a background in music video and commercials, and quite a few commercials, good high-end, Agent Provocateur, and really good brands. And in that, of course, you probably have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
To delight, right?
Yeah.
But do you learn tricks from that, and that you could bring to these independent features?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The commercial stuff and music videos have allowed me to kind of explore stuff that you tend to adapt for. The smaller narrative productions, especially like stage work or like green screen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's where I've been able to do a lot of that, kind of exploring that stuff in the commercial realm. And then when we need to adapt it, I've already had that experience and I can know how we can kind of strip it down and then bring it into like the narrative world and make it work on smaller budgets, smaller projects.
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Seems to me you always choose focal lengths that keep your actors undistorted. That you like, if you're doing a portraiture, you don't want to be up close with the wide. You really want to step back and make them look nice, separate from the background.
A few directors I worked with early on always want to remove like the machinery of filmmaking from the actor's performance and step further back. So the early films I did, we were very long lens.
Right.
I did this film called Exploding Girl that was at Berlin in 2009 with Zoe Kazan, and we shot some scenes on like 300 millimeter.
Oh, wow.
Like it was like a medium shot on 300 millimeter. So we were like, 30 feet away. But it was this incredible thing that happens with the actors that they forgot about everything because we were so far away.
Yeah.
Like the camera crew was like, 30 feet away. Like they weren't noticing us. They were able to really be in the scene, and it's a very intimate character film. So that was something I took away from, making that. That was like my second feature about how, form and function. Like I never want my style to impede the acting. I mean, that's what we're there for,
right.
To capture that and capture it well. Nothing is more exciting for me than seeing capturing the performance in the moment, and I always want to make sure that I'm staying clear of that.
Are you investing in equipment? Are you renting? Who are you working with in New York at rental houses?
In terms of equipment, I just bought an Alexa.
Okay.
Because I've been shooting on it all the time.
Sure.
And I've been looking at lenses too. I mean, lenses would be like the next step. But trying to figure out what would be the right lens is very tricky. I mean, maybe it's a life's work. Like, I don't know. Because for instance, on Heartbeat Loud, we shot with Kawa Cine Promenars spherical lenses.
Right.
Japanese lenses from the 60s. And it was such a great look for this film, but then it's not necessarily something I would apply to like other commercial work. So I'm still trying to figure out maybe that perfect lens set that I would buy.
Sure, yeah.
Or maybe I have to buy many, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Aardvark, it's going to be released in April, but Aardvark, which is the film I shot with, that John Hamm is in, with Zachary Quinto and Jenny Slate, we mixed anamorphic and sphericals with Cook anamorphics with Leica Summicrons.
Okay.
And that's one aspect of like digital cinematography I'm really excited about, the ability to mix formats within the same format. Yeah.
Sure, absolutely. And then when you're working, let's say in digital, because you shoot a lot of Alexa, are you using LUTs? Are you creating your look on set?
Yeah. Rarely on set. Like for Heartbeat Loud, the production, we didn't really have time to do like on-set grading. We were just
19 days.
Yeah.
And what about color correction? Are you in the color timing?
Yeah. We were there for I think like 7 days. With Mike Howell was our colorist at Color Collective, and he was great. Yeah, we kind of used a Fuji film emulation LUT, and then brought it kind of close to what we were shooting on set, and to retain kind of like the look of the lenses. Sure. I think that's the one thing I'm always striving to make sure is like you maintain. It's so easy to change. Like you got to maintain what you were initially excited about on capturing on set.
Yeah,
and what we were excited about with these lenses when we first got them. I wanted to make sure we didn't lose everything by making it too clean or too crisp. Yeah.
Is that why you tend to like using vintage style lenses? Is because of that control of the image?
It introduces artifacts, but I feel like if you aren't careful, people will will start to clean it up. And so that's why I feel like you have to, if you start to use these vintage lenses, you have to embrace that personality and make sure that the character gets tracked all the way through.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of times, I've worked with colorists who they pre-balance without the DP, and they'll basically do that. They'll create a neutral image to say like, oh, well, we have this neutral image, we could take it anywhere, but it's like, I actually want it to be back where we were. I didn't want you to clean it up so that I could take it somewhere else.
Right.
It's like, I want to make sure we have what we had, and then we can make it better.
Sure.
But there is that kind of ability to just lose that character all the way through, and I think that's something DPs have to really maintain when they're working on these, projects where it has this kind of workflow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, what turns you on about a vintage lens? Like, what are the aberrations that you're looking for? Is it flares, or is it veiling, decontrasting?
Yeah, usually it's the softer contrast. I tend to like softer images. I work with soft lighting too. But yeah, mostly the softer contrast and the way it kind of falls apart at the edges. And yeah, just the softness of the image is something I'm after. I tend to shoot with the more modern lenses on a lot of commercial stuff too, and there's something about that crispness. But the films, I guess, that I have been shooting, I like to bring that kind of character into those images. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And in the commercial work, you said you use sharper lenses.
Yeah.
And make it cleaner.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that because
crisper.
Is there a lot of post work done on them? Is that why?
Yeah, post work and just performance, like repeatability and vintage lenses are both a gift and a curse, right? Like,
right.
Like you can only like with the Kawas, like on a 25 millimeter, the edges of the lens, maybe the last fifth on each side. If you were at like 2.8 or below, like you cannot put a person at that edge of the frame.
Oh wow!
They wouldn't be sharp. Like they would never be
at
sharp.
All.
Yeah, at all. So it's like we had to, you had to make sure like certain. So then some of your compositions have to accommodate that fact, right? Like you can't fight it.
Yeah.
Unless we're going for a very specific look, then we would explore vintage lenses. But yeah.
And when the commercial work, you said that you'd prefer to do features, which 19
I love features.
days, 20 days, 30 days.
Hopefully longer than those. Yeah.
Yeah. More time.
Yeah.
Then they got a bigger budgets.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's different from commercial work, really, isn't it?
It's interesting. I mean, like, depends on the commercials too. But I've definitely been on commercials where there's like a committee behind the monitor, and you're like waiting for every decision to get okayed, and the creativity is definitely in prep and like trying to sell all the ideas before you actually execute them, because it feels like, it's almost very rare that we ever are spontaneous in those situations, so because so much has to be agreed upon before you even get there, to execute it. Yeah.
Well, I hope that you have a lot more projects in general. We love watching your work.
Oh, thank you.
We're really excited that you're here at Sundance, excited for your success. Hope the film gets distribution right away.
They just got bought today.
Did they?
They sold to Sony, international rights sold to Sony worldwide, and then today they sold to Gunpowder and Sky for domestic.
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. So it's good news, yeah.
Yes.